Welcome to Africa.
Hey.
Okay.
Beautiful. Friends, last night our plane landed here in the country of thousand hills. And so in this video we're gonna share with you our first impressions.
It's actually Joe's first time in the continent of Africa and we are pretty excited.
Then we're gonna go ahead and make you familiar with the country of Rwanda, its culture, its people.
And finally, we, and probably you as well, have been wrong about so many things here. It's not looking great for us.
So last night around 2 o'clock our plane arrived. This time for Africa. And we're in Africa. Like, it's a strange feeling. We're super happy that we got the hotel room, we got to sleep.
And for everyone unfamiliar with the place, then Rwanda is a relatively tiny Central African country. Its population is about 14 million. And size-wise, it is almost as big as Belgium in Europe, or the state of Hawaii in America.
But now it's literally gonna be the first time that we're heading outside. And for me, it's the first time in mainland Africa. So I'm quite excited.
And so, after packing our few essentials, we headed outside.
Just came outside and clearly forget the first thing, sunscreen. Liisu does it every morning. That's why she looks so young and beautiful. I almost always forget. That's why I look 40 when I'm actually under 30.
Yet, all jokes aside, it took us less than a minute of walking on the streets of Kigali before we noticed something spectacular.
A thing I really am surprised about is how clean and green everything is.
According to all sorts of international statistics, Rwanda is supposed to be among some of the poorest countries in the world. Yet the things that we saw around us spoke another language.
Like, I don't even know what I expected, but the air around here is super fresh. There's barely any trash on the ground. Like, there's one little, like, nose-blowing thingy, paper towel I think is the name of it. But it's super nice.
Heck, it's cleaner than half of Europe.
Exactly.
And it smells like flowers, like tropical flowers all the time.
We quickly became used to the clean and well-kept streets, which for the last 16 years, since plastic bags were banned in this country, have been a beautiful reality.
I think we all have to address our preconceptions that Africa is by far not something it was in the 1960s.
But with this realization came another question. If Africa is no longer the place that we have all seen from old movies, then how many other stereotypes were we wrong about?
I think it's a very hard stereotype to eradicate itself, because we like to stay in very standardized thinking and have this worldview that never changes.
But before diving deeper into this topic, we ran into our first obstacle.
First time crossing the road in Africa.
As you might have guessed, crossing the road in a new country is always treacherous.
Looks organized. I think it's gonna be easier than in India.
And then we went for it.
We just cowboy it.
Let's just hope we survive, eh?
Letting pedestrians cross isn't that common here, and so everybody pretty much crosses whenever there's an opening in the traffic.
Tried so hard and got so far.
After another 15 minutes of walking, we made it to the center of the capital. And once again, in the best way possible, it wasn't quite what we were expecting.
African colors. Just the handcrafts and things are super cool. You want some new earrings?
Everything that surrounded us felt new and interesting.
I do have to admit they look a little bit like the air fresheners in your car, like the shape of evergreen.
They're as big as my head.
The authentic souvenirs on the market stalls. The wide walking streets. Heck, even the tall office buildings seemed captivating, simply because we didn't expect to see them here.
I really enjoy the colors. Everything is made out of natural materials, beautiful clothes. I just think that the body shape of the dresses doesn't quite fit Liisu's.
Do you mean that I have no boobs and no ass? Is that what you were trying to say? Too much truth, eh?
I walked straight into that one, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Yet not to give you the wrong idea, there of course were a few things that were a little hard for us to get used to.
Thank you. We already have SIM
We
card.
already have. Thank you.
Really don't need. Thank you, sir. Have a good day.
First of which was learning how to say no, because on the streets we saw quite a few kids begging. And many others trying to sell us things that we didn't really need.
No, thank you. Murakase. Murakase.
We do know that we're very obviously looking like we're not from here, and we can't hide it anyway.
And for this reason, we have like a rule that we never try to give money.
To beggars.
Yeah, to beggars, to kids, because
In the street.
that will only like strengthen the stereotype. And whenever another person who's white comes to visit this country, they're treated like a walking wallet. So I know it's hard to say no sometimes, and you can really see people in trouble. But instead of giving money, like if you need to give something, give food, give necessities.
However, as it was our first day in Rwanda, we still needed to get one truly important thing done. A chore so important that our lives simply depended on it.
If we want the good stuff, I think we need to ask.
For prevention or
Prevention, yeah.
Yeah, we have Mararon,
Only Malarona.
Mararon and Prapne,
Do you have Lariam, Mefloquine?
Mifroken.
Yeah.
So I put the camera on to say that getting malaria pills wasn't as easy as we thought.
The next hour or so, we spent going from one pharmacy to another.
What kind of malaria pills do you have? Malaria.
Turns out that our initial plan to buy malaria prevention tablets from a place where the disease is common wasn't as good as we would have thought.
You don't have? Yeah. That sucks.
And after visiting 5 different drugstores, our hopes were no longer high.
It's not looking great for us.
So yeah, the problem is we can't get the prevention medicine that you have to take once a week. So I think we're gonna have to start taking antibiotics every day. It's better than dying of malaria.
After accepting that our ideal solution was not possible, we bought the available pills.
You take one per day.
And then, quite tired from the effort, retreated back to our hotel room. Because on the next day, we wanted to learn more about this country's history and of course get to see the real Rwandan culture. The following morning, however, began with new set of challenges.
So the thing with malaria medication is that there's no good options. Each and every one of them has side effects. Some are better, some are worse.
But malaria in Africa kills,
Malaria in Africa kills.
especially Muzungus like us.
Muzungu. Muzungu means like a wanderer or a white guy, like a gringo in Spanish or in South America.
But less negative connotation.
So what are the side effects of that thing?
2 hours later.
Possible side effects. Light sensitivity, so sun will burn us especially much. Allergic reactions, headaches, nausea, vomiting, bloating, fatty stools.
Believe it or not, but this list went on for another 3 minutes. Yet as our plan was clear, there wasn't any time to waste on worrying. And therefore, after another 40 minutes of walking on the streets, we made it to our first destination.
When you do visit Rwanda, there's no way around the fact that you will come in contact with the horrible things that happened here around 30 years ago, in the end of the last century. And now we've come to the main memorial museum of the Rwandan genocide.
These events took place in the year 1994, and there is no doubt that the scars from such horrific times can still be seen all around the society.
These big platforms behind us, they're actually graves, to this side and to this side as well.
Between 500,000 and 1 million people were killed in the time span of only few months, and it is considered to be among the most horrific acts done in the 20th century.
The aftermath of the genocide left Rwanda in total chaos. The country's economy was destroyed. Millions of people lost their homes,
Huge bullet holes in the walls.
and hundreds of thousands of kids had to grow up without parents.
It's a different sort of feeling visiting places like this. Places where tragedy has happened, injustice, just where people have lost their lives, but the only way to learn from them and to avoid them in the future is to remember them. Because maybe I have my head in the clouds, but I do believe that we as humanity, we are capable of peace. And hopefully one day it will happen.
However, to truly understand the local life, we knew that seeing a few museums was simply not enough. And so hesitantly, we took the road that led us away from the well-developed city center. Before we even noticed, the paved roads ended. And then we found ourselves in a true Rwandan neighborhood. We mustered a smile, tried to stay calm, and greeted every person the best we could in their local Kinyarwanda language.
Hey, hey, muraho.
And believe it or not, it worked, because in just few moments, everybody wanted to say hello. We got to play football with some energetic preteens.
You're better than me. Woo!
And even the elders waved at us from their porches that were made out of plastic and other strange materials. We were accepted in a matter of minutes.
How are you?
And in those small streets, we learned more about the local ways than we ever could have imagined.
Between the houses, when there's good ground, it will not be wasted. Corn or some other thing will be growing over there.
It was like a small economy. Everybody had stores or businesses that offered services to their neighbors.
Every house seems to have their own little business, like, look at this. Over there, there's a sewing machine, and if somebody needs help, then they go there.
And although we were a little cautious or even anxious at first,
People are definitely watching us more. It doesn't seem hostile, muraho.
then each new encounter strengthened our trust.
We're walking on some like very local street. Looks like this, if it can be called a street. And a couple stopped, asked what I have in my hand. I'm like, okay, that's weird. What should I do? I didn't lie. I told there's a camera, and she was like,
Yeah, come.
let's take photos together. That was super sweet. Beautiful. Thank you. Have a great day.
And of course the cherry on top was when we were leaving the neighborhood
Okay.
and a group of children ran after us.
Okay.
Murakaze.
I think they wanted to greet us or maybe just say hello.
Muraho.
Yet whatever it was sweet and genuine.
Bye-bye. Nice to meet you. Bye-bye.
They did genuinely just come for hugs.
That was the sweetest thing.
When we finally made it back to the city center, our hearts were filled with joy. The people that we had met were a living proof that our future and happiness is not destined by our past. And this very same statement is probably what defines Rwanda best for us. Because although this nation has seen some horrific things happening throughout their history, then what really matters to them now is how they learn from those mistakes and how they move on together towards a better future. We finished our day with a dinner in a small shop, and later shared a cup of coffee with a couple of locals that have lived here for their whole lives. Yet during this sitting, we once again had the privilege to be a part of some amazing conversations. And I think these ideas would be perfect to end our first video from Africa.
From the few conversations we've had with locals today, it's interesting to see that the stereotypes, they go actually both ways. Like, they literally told us that here they think that everyone from Europe is like super wealthy and super well off. But when we told them that we live from our backpacks, like we don't have a home, they were laughing out loud. Like, really, how's that possible? Like, from your backpack, 5 months you're gonna be in here, Africa?
It's the beauty of misconceptions.
Yeah, and that's like one of the greatest feelings when you're in a new country or a new place and you get to exchange those truths. Like, your stereotypes are getting broken, and I would say the first days here, that's exactly what's happened.
Yeah.
We've seen how modern, how clean, how beautiful a capital city in Africa can be.
So friends, here's to breaking stereotypes. And although I would not like to give too many spoilers, then in the next episode, things will, without a doubt, get much crazier.
What's going on?
Thank you for watching. Take care and bye.